And welcome everyone to the 10th edition in season 2 of the Shadow Collective, a Star Wars podcast. I am Darth Eldor, and as always, I am here with my good friends Swampgrass and 80 Beads. How are you both doing today, guys?
I'm doing great.
I'm
doing
here,
great.
and I'm good. How are you?
You sound convinced.
Convinced about what? That I'm here or that I'm good? I don't even
Yes.
know am I here? Oh my
It is
goodness.
just a dream.
It's just a dream.
Awesome.
I'm doing good, yep.
Yeah, happy to hear it. So it's been a couple weeks. We've
Yes.
had a couple more episodes of the ACOLYTE come through, for better or for worse.
We have, yeah.
And sounds like want to get in and talk about some of this.
Do we have stuff to talk about?
A little bit.
Good things to say about it?
A little bit.
Okay.
At least I think we do. But first, let's cover a little bit of the news. Before we do anything with that, I wanted to get into one of the first things here. It comes from ScreenRant.com, and they were talking to Rosario Dawson, and she was teasing about her season 2 journey going with Ahsoka, and I'm just gonna start reading some of it, and we'll go through and we'll talk about it.
Sounds good.
Alright, so it starts with Ahsoka star Rosario Dawson recently gave some exciting hints of where season 2 of the Star Wars show should go. Dawson plays the titular Ahsoka Tano, former Jedi and Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. By the end of Ahsoka season 1, she had experienced huge amounts of hardships and challenges, both new and old, excuse me, and was forced to move past them. Season 2 was confirmed in January, alongside the announcement of The Mandalorian and Grogu. And now Dawson has hinted at some new challenges her character will have to face in Ahsoka Season 2. While speaking with the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, Dawson spoke about Ahsoka's journey from her time in the Clone Wars to Ahsoka Season 1, and mentioned her excitement about continuing that story in Season 2. And she says, in quote, it's just so great to be able to see her get that lightness back. It makes me very excited for Season 2, being able to explore even more as she's made more peace with her past, where she can kind of look more to the future and again face those particular challenges. Because that's the thing I love about Star Wars. You're constantly conflicted, you're constantly provoked, you know. And just because she's kind of come to a different kind of understanding for herself doesn't mean she won't be tested again. It'd be so cool to see her doing it from this space now, where she's got a Padawan. She's made a lot of peace with her mentor, and she has a more kind of confidence, I think, in herself and what she's chosen thus far in the journey. Yeah, it sounds like we're gonna have some interesting stuff going on. I mean, obviously, we do have her now training Sabine Wren to be a Jedi. I don't know if they're even training her to be a Jedi. I mean, she's technically not a Jedi, so that's kind of an interesting idea of what kind. I mean, obviously it's going to be a light path, but isn't technically the Jedi Order. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, obviously, we're gonna finally see more of this Mortis arc and where it's gonna be taken. Like I said, I'm still curious about what they're gonna do with Baylan Skoll, which, I mean, let's face facts. To me, as much as I enjoyed the Ahsoka show, Baylan was probably my favorite part of that show.
Right.
So what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, it's really cool to to hear that she's excited about the arc of the Ahsoka Tano character since she is playing it, because yeah, to me that means a lot when the actors are, into it, and translates usually to a good product on the screen. So I like to hear that. And yeah, I mean, Ahsoka Tano, yeah, she's an awesome character. So I can't wait to see how this next season, how she's going to grow even more, and like how she's talking about being tested. Can't wait to see her. Now that she's Ahsoka Tano the White, as they call it in Lord of the Rings. I can't wait to see her smite some fools. Yeah.
They shall not pass.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's all going to come down to the story, or the story that's developing around it too, right? Because you gotta think there's still a bunch of stuff that has to play into this, because Thrawn being in this at the end of it, what's going to happen with Thrawn going into the other movies, or whatever Dave Filoni's got going on. I mean, I don't see us seeing anything Ahsoka wise for the next couple of years. I don't think they've just mentioned it. They're not, I don't think they plugged it in anywhere yet, right? So I think it comes down to whatever happens in the other stuff, which I'm excited too. I want to see where this Thrawn story's going.
Mm-hmm.
It's are we going to see any more Anakin? As the Force Ghost again? I can imagine they're probably going to do a couple things with that.
I do feel like they kind of came to somewhat of a conclusion with that. The training session, we could call it, with Ahsoka. Maybe in a different context.
Which training session?
Like when she was in the world beyond worlds, like hanging out with him, fighting and stuff, and they like that kind of came to
I think she's at
a finality.
I think it's more of the sense of like, him being, because I don't think he's going anywhere. He's there, right? So I don't think he's going to be going anywheres. Maybe he's just going to be around, like, and she'll be able to talk to him or something if he's, I don't know, stuff like that. Because she's going to be training Sabine, I would imagine, right? Like, and not as a Jedi, but I think, she's going to teach her how to harness, her abilities now, I guess, a little bit easier, and maybe teach her how to jump properly, and not have somebody else push her. And what's going to happen with Ezra? You know what I mean? Like the Ezra part of that too. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if
that world, right? So
yeah,
I'm
curious to see if Ezra will. Yeah. I wonder if he will appear in some of those other shows. I mean, he should if Thrawn is, right?
It's possible with the Filoni, the Filoni movie. Yeah, I mean, it's, there's lots of possibilities here, right? Like, what's going to happen? Are we going to see, what's going to happen with the witches, with the Night Sisters that came back? Because are they gonna find some more Night Sisters? Are they gonna find more Night Sisters? What's happening with Enoch, man? Like, that guy's a mystery. You know what I mean? Like, he was a total mystery. Like, there's no backstory on him. He was just there.
They made him look important, and then kind of wasn't. That
was kind of their MO in that show, right? Making people look important, and then they become nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing is they're still talking to him, at least. So you almost get a feeling like maybe his role just hasn't been fulfilled yet. Whereas
that's what I feel for sure.
Whereas at least, I mean, the thing was with the sequel trilogy, when Cosmo, I forget the name of the actress that played her, they stopped talking to her altogether. So we never knew. It was almost like, we're not going to abuse her. Just let it go.
That's gonna drive me crazy. I have to look it up because I know the girl. I just can't think of it.
Yeah, like you can see. I can see it.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, tall lady.
Tall lady. Hey, tall lady, blonde hair. Short blonde, tall lady hair. That came out weird. Tall lady hair.
Gwendolyn
Gwendolyn.
Christie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. As soon as you were about to say Gwendolyn, I was like, Gwendolyn. Brianna Tarth. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her, man. Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, we never heard it. We never heard from her again, and it's unfortunate. So, because
I think that was all dealt with terribly, anyways. But that's a different story.
yeah, but that's a different rant for a different day.
Let's not get into that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was Phasma, right? Battle vest.
All right, so I think we covered
Yeah.
that. Was there
I think
anything?
there's lots they can do. It's exciting to know that there's that there is a season 2 coming out at some point, and Thrawn is still out there, and I'm more excited to see what they're gonna do with Thrawn, to be honest, right now. Like, I want to know what the plan is, or
I hope they do more with Thrawn and Ezra before we get to the Ahsoka season 2, like to the point where it doesn't fully overtake the story of like them on that planet with Balin and stuff.
I think the season 2 might come out after the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all going to come down to is how this is all timed out. Because, I mean, if they're smart, we're going to have little bits of everything. We should have little bits of everything in all of these shows now. If you're starting to slowly meld it all together into what should be a great story.
Right.
I mean, I don't need to have a full episode, but if you give me 10 minutes that veer off into the world of Ahsoka and just lets me know she's still there, she's still doing stuff, that's all I need. And or you're in the middle of that, you're in the middle of the Ahsoka season, and maybe you need to take 10 minutes and veer off to what's going on in the Republic, and maybe Thrawn is attacking his first planet or something, and starting.
That would be a really cool way to do it.
I mean, just so you know, while these shows are going on, different things are happening as they go. I think that would make things a little more interesting, rather than waiting for this specific show to know what's happening here, this specific show to know what's happening there. I mean, we know the characters now. We know the stories. We know what they're all aiming to do. Now we can just start moving the story.
Move the story forward, yeah.
So
I have a prediction to that end, guys. I think Thrawn is going to Dathomir. Hot take, I know.
I mean, I don't know. That's good. That's gonna be a tough call, but but we'll have to see on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so
write it down here, guys. Like, jot it down.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first. Not at the end of the show. Yeah.
No. Thrawn didn't say it at all. Nope.
There's. You take the witches anywheres, but they're going to Dathomir.
Yeah.
All right, so that being said, I think we've covered that well. Why don't we get into the next one, because I think it's going to continue a little bit of this anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of connected. I can take this one.
Sure.
Comic book. So this is from comicbook.com. So it's an update Dave Filoni has offered, or he offers a status on the update of his announced movie. So it's kind of intertwines, obviously, with the Ahsoka stuff and everything else going on. So as fans enjoy Star Wars The Acolyte, there are a lot of exciting Star Wars projects in the works from Lucasfilm. In addition, the more television shows, a film titled Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu has been announced for 2026 with Star Wars. The Mandalorian showrunner Jon Favreau is set to direct the project. Dave Filoni, the showrunner of Star Wars Ahsoka and the chief creative officer, CCO, of Lucasfilm, also has a movie in the works that's expected to culminate the Mandalorian timeline. Recently, Filoni appeared on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast alongside Rosario Dawson and Hayden Christensen, and they shared an update, which we just did in the first article. Because I've been writing Ahsoka Season 2, things have clicked, and I have a much better idea about where things are going to go. I will say, I have an opening I really like quite a bit. I'm very excited about it for that picture. I'm excited about the potential of just doing it. Right now, my focus is clearly on Ahsoka as well as the rest of the galaxy, and now it's spinning. The galaxy is spinning, guys.
Oh.
Filoni also teased that he's been working on Mandalorian Grogu with Favreau, saying it's been fun to dive into, and they are currently putting one foot in front of the other. Thanks for that. Because moving forward in a movie is the right direction. When it comes to their lineup of projects, Jon Favreau and I have our own little theater that we've been playing in. But Star Wars is a big galaxy. I think there's a lot of possibilities, but we do things on our own way. I think of, A New Hope is an important moment in the timeline. The Death Star blows up. That changes everything. A cinematic moment for this time period has to be a moment that's changing things, and we understand it as the audience, and then it can ripple down if we have other shows going on underneath that. So if there was a show taking place in the New Hope time period that you were watching as a kid, you would understand that things have changed in the show because the Death Star blew up. But they didn't necessarily need to be there. So there's a ton of possibilities of how to tell these stories in a unique way as for Star Wars as well. So yeah, sounds like they're well in the process of writing this thing, or whatever they're writing. There's a bunch of writing going on.
Yeah, these things.
These things, right? And they're putting one foot in front of the other.
Left, right. Let's go.
Left, right. I don't know. I think it it kind of, blends in with the last article, right? We're just excited to see this stuff going forward, and we're looking forward to what is going to happen, and hopefully we hear more stuff about it soon at some point. Because yeah,
definitely looking forward to it. I mean, obviously, it's when you have someone's gonna bring everything together. Obviously, that's what we want to see. I'm not only curious about where that story goes, but where they're going to continue that story from there. Because we haven't heard that with this show it's the end of the Mandalorian story. We've also heard that we're also going to have, still more seasons of the Mandalorian along with it. So
yeah,
that keeps my interest in this as well. It's like, now I really want to see what's going on. I really want to see what's going to happen. So hopefully, yeah, we're going to get some really good stories out of this.
Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't end everything. You know what I mean? Like, that the movie's done. It's like, nope, no more stories for the Mandalorian universe. Like, that can't be a thing. They created this universe now. They got to keep it going, I know it's going to culminate like the Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all that stuff, that story, but it can keep going,
Yeah, I thought they did say in some capacity that there was still plans for Mandalorian season 4, but I can't remember exactly what that was. If it was just a loose statement or something.
I think it was a loose statement. I think they still didn't know if it was going to happen or not, or people were just like, they probably know. We just, we're not going to know for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Very
good at keeping that stuff.
The best thing is they haven't said no.
Right.
So,
and didn't Jon Favreau say he had something written, had season 4 written, but turning half of it into the movie, or like?
Yeah, I think that's what they were saying with it.
Yeah, and honestly, from this article where he was talking about that, how he's saying he has um, a better view of where things are gonna go. I feel like that kind of answers part of that to some degree. That like he kind of didn't even know if it was gonna be replaced season 4 replacing the movie or the movie replacing season 4 or whatever. It sounds like at least he knows where he's going with it.
Yeah.
So
Like with Filoni saying that he has more of a idea where everything's going to go as they're writing the stuff right now, like it, to me anyways, it gives me a kind of a Filoni's in control,
exactly.
we're kind of at ease, Filoni's got this is his thing, right? So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of nice.
Kind of good news.
Kind of
Good
good
news.
news, somebody who's established,
Yeah.
as a
And
Star
that
Wars
cares
writer.
too, right? He cares about the lore like we do.
Well,
So
well, they wouldn't give him the CCO position if he didn't care.
So basically, happy thoughts, warm feelings.
Happy thoughts. Yeah.
Just where we need to be.
Yeah.
That's where we try. That's why we come to Star Wars. Happy thoughts, man. That's why we come here.
All right.
That's why I come here.
All right. Let's move on to the next story, which is about she's talking about grab this one.
Yeah, I'll grab it. So Bryce Dallas Howard talks directing Skeleton Crew and potential Star Wars film. Oh, cool. Bryce Dallas Howard has spoken some about what is like directing an episode of Skeleton Crew, and also admitted that yes, she would like to direct a film one day. So this interview is with Collider, and she was talking about that. It says, this is in quotes. Yeah, no, it is very, very exciting because kind of the infrastructure that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have built is allowing for this kind of broadening and truly Jon Favreau in particular, because he had the relationship with John Watts through Spider-Man, because John Watts directed the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. I'm pretty sure he's also the director for that show, right?
He is.
He kind of knew how great John Watts was and entrusted him with this, but it was wonderful because Jon Favreau was there every single day. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect for Jon Favreau to be there every day, not on his own set, technically. So that's pretty cool. She also mentioned that there were a lot of practical effects used in the series, with nonstop motion expert Phil Tippett, responsible for the beloved stop motion effects in the original Star Wars trilogy, brought in to assist. So the cohesiveness to the storytelling with Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, The Mandalorian, and Boba Fett, that is wonderful. And because of that, it's not the wheel every single time. And so they are able to get these moments where, John has been bringing Phil Tippett in since the absolute beginning. I mean, he helped design the Purge in my episode for Boba Fett. And so just getting to do that more and more has been really remarkable. So that's pretty cool. John Tippett, working with them on that show gives us a sense that we're going to get some cool stop motion animation. Or not animation, you know what I mean. Effects. Okay, so there's more quotes from her here, talking about potentially doing a film. And she says, well, I wish. So what I'll say is I'm going to do an episode of Skeleton Crew, which I'm super excited about. Went to college with John Watts and his writing partner in this, Chris Ford. And so that was very exciting, getting to do that. I love, again, for the children in the audience, I'll be mindful. I sometimes characterize myself in a professional sense as a dominant submissive. What that means is that I'm very happy to go and play in someone else's sandbox and be part of the team and kind of be a vessel for someone else's vision and try to kind of execute their vision with great enthusiasm as if it were my own. And then also, I really love to work with a team and be kind of a team captain. I enjoy that. I have strength in that area. I love filmmaking. I love directing. And so I would absolutely love to direct a Star Wars film. I would absolutely love to have a Star Wars show. And that's pretty much the end of it. So, yeah.
I agree. I would love to have her take a shot at making a show.
Yeah, she'd be so good. Yeah.
I mean, not for not. I mean, I didn't care as much for her episode of Boba Fett that she did, but I thought the episodes of The Mandalorian she did were spot on. I thought they were amazing episodes, very well done. She had.
When she says the purged, is it the episode, like the final episode where they all fight and stuff?
No,
is that what it is?
I'm trying to remember.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the last episode.
Oh, okay.
No, that was Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I remember that. Now that you say that, that rings a bell.
But she seemed very dialed in. She seemed to understand Star Wars really well. And because of that, anyone that's going to be at that level where they're going to understand what people want to see, what makes for good Star Wars, that's what I want. Helm in the ship. It's like, if you don't understand the stories, I don't want you here. It's not me being snobbish, it's not me being a jerk. I want good stories, and if you can't bring good stories to the table, go away until you can. I mean, we have witnessed enough stuff that people don't like. I don't like seeing people divided over a TV show. I don't like seeing people divided over a movie. I just want to see something come out that, at the end of the day, everyone is going to love, everyone is going to enjoy. And I think she's one of those people that can actually make it happen. So, yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. She can direct and write and whatever. I don't know if she wrote. She just directed, right? She didn't write them.
I think she's just directed.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So it'd be a whole different thing. I mean, she'd probably get, if she was to do a movie, she'd probably get, Favreau to help her out or to write it or something like that. If it was, she's got a list of people that she can probably call on. Hey, can you help me write this? So yeah, I think it'd be smart. Honestly, I think it'd be smart for Star Wars and Disney to let her. To be honest, because she's got a good track record for the most part, right? So,
I mean, absolutely. I mean, she's had. I'm looking here. I'm looking at her IMDb real quick, and she has written 2 shorts. She's written a couple of shorts of her own. I mean, obviously, as a director, she's done quite a bit. As a producer, she's done a bit. I didn't even realize in Tales of the Jedi she was the voice of Yaddle.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
nice.
So.
It's a good little tidbit of information.
Yeah, I'm just seeing that now.
Easter egg.
But I mean, she's a good actress too. I mean, she's done a lot of stuff. So.
Yep.
See, she's also been a producer. I mean, her father's Ron Howard. I mean,
well, look at her father. Yeah,
I was gonna say,
Dad.
I mean,
if there is anybody for her to ask advice on, or all the movie sets that she's been on, or when she was a kid, like all the stuff she's picked up over the years. I mean, she's got the Howard blood, right? So.
But and that's another thing that you could bring to the table too. You give her a Star Wars show, you got to get the feeling that Ron Howard's gonna at least direct 1 or 2 episodes for his daughter.
Maybe, right?
And
well, if it's like within the next, because he's getting up there in age too, right? So.
he is, yeah. But I mean, still, I could see him wanting to do something in Star Wars for his daughter. And at the same time, when I think about that, we got to get a Ron Howard directed Star Wars movie. We didn't really get we didn't really get that because he had to come in and save
it. Yeah,
save Solo. And don't get me wrong, it's like I said, I like Solo.
I do too.
I think he did a great job with what he had to work with. I would just love to see him in a position where he could start from scratch and you could see what he can really do.
Yeah. Well, we know what he can really do. Yeah.
and
we know what he can do.
Yeah, we know what he can do, but
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see. Let's start with him at the helm. He gets to do everything he wants. He doesn't have to come in and fix things. Start to finish, soup to nuts. Let's go.
like just imagine them, like Ron Howard, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, just mixing up this movie, man. Like, ooh, baby.
George stopping in for a day to look things over.
Wow.
I mean,
you know,
yeah. I'm sorry. It just, I see something that could really click there. I see something that could be great.
And they put on the outside of the writer's room, boys only.
Yeah.
Like a treehouse.
Yeah.
And to put it, to go with this, Ron Howard is 70 years old. So,
well,
yeah, he's up there in age.
Yeah.
He's up there in age, but I mean, let's face it. There's a couple 70-year-olds out there. I mean,
Listen,
I don't know how old Scorsese is.
If Clint Eastwood is still directing movies and
There you
starring
go.
his own movies, he's 90.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Ron Howard can do it.
I mean, we see Scorsese out there. I'm sure he's. I think he's over 70. I mean, I think Ron Howard could come in and do a couple TV shows.
I think he could do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I would love to see it. So, but
yeah, I was looking at the episode that Bryce Dallas Howard directed in Book of Boba Fett. It's actually one of my favorite episodes. It's the one where Mandalorian returns. We see him get do a bounty, and then he meets up again with Armor and Paz Vizsla, and they fight over the Darksaber, and then he kind of gets disowned as a Mandalorian, and they melt the spear, and then he goes and meets up with Fennec Shand at the end. Also before that, we see Carson Teva for the first time in there, and he's kind of warning him that he was flying too fast or something like that, and then goes to Tatooine and meets up with Fennec Shand, and yeah.
I gotta take that back then. I for some reason I didn't think it was that episode that she did.
Yeah, it is. I'm just looking at it right now.
Well, okay, then that makes me wanna see her do this even more now.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to think
You're
of
hating the wrong episode.
Yeah, and now I feel bad about it.
Sorry, Bryce. Sorry, Brian. Sorry.
Oh yeah, also that's when he gets the ship too, the N1 Naboo starfighter thing. So
Okay.
yeah, good episode. To me, it was that one and the one with Luke Skywalker. I think probably the one after that. But yeah.
One more look here because I know. Well, maybe I just got it wrong.
Yeah. Well, I was curious because I was
human,
like,
bud. You're human.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, I was curious which episode it was because I was like, man.
Oh no, that was the one. Okay, my mistake.
You found it.
I did find it. It was actually the last episode of The Mandalorian she did. She did the Lizzo episode.
Gotcha.
She did the Lizzo Jack Black episode. Black.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
So
Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I was thinking she did that one.
And it's like, okay, yeah, there was. I knew there was some episodes she did that I didn't care for, but I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, for this she's done. It says she's done 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, 1 episode of Boba Fett. You're 3 and 1 right now. You're still high up on my list.
Oh, you're above 500.
Yeah, you're high up on my list of things. I want to see you do more. So it's
Yeah,
not cool.
and even though like I also agree that wasn't my favorite episode, one thing I will say is that was very good for Star Wars, that episode. It definitely brought eyes to Star Wars of people that have never even seen Star Wars. So just by having those big celebrities in there. Like it was all over the
guess you could say that.
entertainment news, like all these like young
There was a
people
lot of
that
talk about it,
aren't
that's for
really
sure,
into
yeah.
it. There was people on the radio that said, "I've never even watched Star Wars, but I watched this."
Yeah, I guess you're
I
right
don't know
about
what the
that.
heck's going on, but there's Jack Black.
So there is, something positive there from that. And for me also, I did like to see the separatist droids. It's always awesome to see things
Clone
like
War
that
stuff. Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
Clone War stuff for me is always the bright side of things for me. Like I always love seeing that
Mhm.
stuff because that's Clone Wars, and no matter what people say about the prequels, like they're still that's what I grew up on. So that's where I always go to. Love seeing this nostalgic stuff.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And it's weird saying nostalgic for me. It was 1999, right? It's nostalgic for me, and people who grew up with the original trilogy, they're like, that's not nostalgic, and I get it. I got it. Everybody's got their own, nostalgia.
Yeah.
Okay.
That episode 1 got me into Star Wars. So
All right. So that being said, I think we covered most of the news. I mean, there wasn't a lot that went on this past couple of weeks. But let's get. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Let's get to the Acolyte. Sorry, I still do have a little bit
It's
of the
okay.
allergies.
Breathe.
Still do have a little bit of the allergies. I do apologize for that. But
No worries. No worries.
But we did go through episodes 3 and 4 these past couple weeks. They have definitely had their ups and downs from anybody who's paying attention to Star Wars lately. And I just say let's get into it. Let's talk about it. We'll start with episode 3. I'll pick up with this, and it was called Destiny. It was directed by Kelnacca. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
Coco Bango. I don't know. I've never heard this person before.
And
he's one of those one name people, I guess.
Yeah. One of the one names.
And it was written by Jasmine Flournoy and Eileen Shim. I'm not sure if they've done anything else in Star Wars before this, but let's get into it. So we go 16 years back in time in this episode. Into 16 years earlier, Osha and Mae live with an all-female coven of witches on the planet Brendock. Their mother and the coven's leader, Mother Anastasia, claims the twins do not have a father. They were carried by another witch, Mother Quoro. Anastasia teaches the children that the Force, which she calls the Thread, is misused by the Jedi. They undergo a ceremony to be inducted into the coven, which Mae is excited for, but Osha is not. Before Osha is inducted, the ceremony is interrupted by the 4 Jedi who express concern that the witches are treating children. They claim the right to test the twins for their suitability to become Jedi. Anastasia asks the children to fail the test. Mae does, but Osha chooses to pass it. Tells Anastasia that she wishes to become a Jedi. Angry that her sister wants to leave her, Mae locks Osha in her room and burns her diary. Fire spreads, and Soul helps Osha get to safety. They see Mae seemingly die and find the rest of the coven dead as well. The Jedi take Osha to Coruscant, and Soul promises to train her as his Padawan. On Brendock, Mae is shown to have survived and started looking. Where to start?
Where do you want to start?
Who wants to start?
So I'm just gathering some information about those writers and directors. If you give me a couple minutes, I'll have some info for us.
Okay, Andy.
Okay. So. Okay. This episode was weird for me. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of weird, but it had some good parts on it, but there was a little bit of I didn't find, and I know this is like they're kids or whatever, right? But I mean, the acting wasn't the greatest, to be honest. Like, and I know they're kids. Like, I'm not gonna like harp too on it, but it felt like I don't know. It felt a little weird, I guess, to say the least. And yada yada. Let's see. So when they're talking about the thread thing, that kind of threw me off a little bit at first, but I was like, well, I guess everybody has their own like
interpretation of the Force.
of the Force, I guess. So I was like, okay, I can see that. Let's see what else. And then we find out that maybe that's later on. I don't know. Words are not coming to me. The ritual that they had. So when they were singing the whatever song, and apparently this song was made like so somebody sang, like, this was a real song. They put it out, they like released this song on Spotify. They released it out. This is an actual song, I guess. I don't know who it's, but who sang it. I don't remember, but
That's on Spotify.
Well, it's like what was it called?
The Power of Many.
The Power of Many, or whatever it is. It was released as a song. Yeah. Anyways, so they're all singing it, and like it's not even like it wasn't even, they were singing it. It wasn't even correctly in tune with what they were singing on the thing, and it was like they were throwing in words here and there, and then there was this random witch in the background just like yelling. You're like, what was that? And then it does it again. You're like, okay.
It felt very witchy.
I don't know. It's very, I don't know how to explain it, guys. It's just, it was kind of weird, but I guess, I mean, it fits a little bit, with the witches and stuff. Like, is this like, are they linked to, is this like
Night Sisters?
The start of the Night Sisters, or not the start, but is this like a
different
like
version,
a different coven, a different version?
Yeah. Yeah, I was also wondering that, because I also love the Night Sisters like yourself, Andy, and and so I was very curious, but we didn't really get much information towards that end, I suppose. But then again, we also pretty much see the end of that coven too, right? So
yeah, that's it too, right? So I don't know.
Maybe just a sort of a rogue faction of witches that maybe is overall unimportant, but
well,
yeah, it's hard to say.
They did say during the Mother Anastasia, she did say something about they haven't performed this ritual, since they were like, what's the word, thrown out of somewheres, or since they were banned from something, or since they were
banished or
from something. So maybe they were part of a Night Sister thing, and I don't know. So anyways,
All right, so do you guys want me to hop into talking about that director and the two writers? I have all the
Sure, just
info I need to.
go for it, because my finding words for this is kind of hard. I'm trying to like tiptoe around things for some reason. I don't know why.
Right after that, I'll hop into joining what you were just talking about. But so yeah, the director what's his name again? Kogonada. He won a
Coco
Peabody
Cabana.
Award. Coco Cabana. he won a Peabody Award for a movie called Pachinko, or a television show called Pachinko. 4 episodes, executive producer, director. Doesn't have a lot of credits here. It only shows a couple of films, like 2 films, 2 shows, and then that award. So kind of a newcomer as a director, it seems. And then same with Jasmine Fournoy. Very small amount of credits. This is her first stab at being a writer, and previously has credits for just being additional cast on The Falcon and Winter Soldier and a couple of other interesting Hand of God, and that's about it. Like four shows or movies. And then the other one, Eileen Shim, very experienced veteran writer, lots of production, creation, story editor, screenplay writer, tons of credits for her. So, but nothing Star Wars showing up here. So House of Dragons producer, co-producer.
House of the Dragon. Okay.
Mhm. So now we know who those people are. But
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, the Anastasia character herself, I thought was really, really good. I liked that character. I thought she felt very Star Wars, like epic, the way I expect a Star Wars character to be, and certainly felt more like imposing than her daughter, than the 2 girls. Like I almost wish she was the main character of the show instead of the 2 young girls. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall though, like I don't know. I didn't love this episode, but I did like the witch stuff. For some reason, I really liked that part. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. So as it goes through, so they go to this, they're doing the ascension thing, and then they're interrupted by the Jedi. Jedi come in, and like there's got to be more to the story of the. I mean, obviously we'll see more of the story as it goes on. Like, and this is why it's kind of hard to like the way that they're telling the story. It's in pieces, and you're like, well, you don't really know the whole story until it's all like fully told. So like, what was going on with the Jedi before, like the opening scene. They're like in the woods, and they're like, the Jedi are out here. We got to get back to the coven, and then the Jedi are here. So like, why are they on arms, up in arms when the Jedi arrive? There must have been some like tension before.
oh yeah, it seems like they do recognize the Jedi as an
They
enemy.
know, so there's got to be something,
Hmm.
between them, right?
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. And then yeah, so they do the ascension thing. The Jedi show up, and the kids come out, and you know, then she tells her mother that she wants to be a Jedi and stuff, and then there's the whole thing where she locks her in a room, and she kind of burns the diary, and for some reason the diary that's just burning engulfs the whole door. I mean,
Yeah,
it's made of
steel
wood.
door.
It's made of wood. steel
No.
steel door made of wood. Okay. And then yeah, so and then it's made to think that obviously May is the one who burnt down the whole place, when obviously like you're going, there's rock everywhere. How is she gonna burn down the whole place with this little
Mhm.
diary thing, right? So that's where it,
Yeah.
plays in, where it's like, well, obviously there's more to the story with the Jedi. Obviously, either that, or maybe the dark user was around and they fought the Jedi and all this stuff.
I would say
So
like because it shows her being very angry right? When she's burning the
Oh, she was.
diary and stuff, she was like furious, right?
Did you see her eyes? Like when
Yeah.
when she like had the fire up to her and she was going the stare. I was like, oh, she's an evil one.
So what I think, like the only way it could possibly make sense, because like you said, everything that you see in all the shots is like metal, rock, metal, rock. So,
Doesn't make any sense.
so to me, the only way it can make sense is because she's so furious, she's pulling on these threads of the Force and using the Force to burn everything. Inadvertently. Because
Well,
of like just being powerful or having
but your destruction, you're looking at it after everything's done, you're like, heck did all this happen, like from this little book that started off the thing. But anyways, I thought it was kind of weird. Well, like, why would she say, so when she's like, you're not going anywhere, so I'm not gonna let you, she's like, well, you can't stop me, she's like, I'm gonna kill you. And you're like, why? How would that even come up in the I'm gonna kill you then? Well, that's not gonna resolve anything. Hello, like,
It's like
I don't know. Like,
like
it was kind of a weird.
it kind of went
it
to
is
the
things that
ultimate.
kids say though.
It kind of went to the ultimate escalation out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, yeah. Like, I'm not letting you go anywhere. So you can't stop me. I'll kill you. What? So I don't know, man.
I feel like kids are. I feel like kids are that way though. Sometimes they just like
Not like
go
that.
to the nth degree.
Oh man.
Well,
Kind of,
most
like,
of them don't
pretty
actually
extreme.
burn down the whole place or anything, but they'll say like, "I'm gonna kill you,"
If you're a pyro, yeah, I guess.
If you don't love me, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Kids.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
and well, that's part of the dark. That's part of the dark side. I don't know. Like, I feel like the dark side user was there, and the dark side user was, especially in that shot with the candle, when she just let, like, she was, I feel like she was being influenced by the dark side user that was there.
I think she is. I think the coven itself is dark side users, Force users.
It is their magic is their magic is
more
on the dark side of the spectrum. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then again, they did create these children somehow or whatever. So that, I don't know if that is dark side per se, or maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, that's another thing for me. The creation of the two twins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, it's kind of a weird thing. Like, Phantom Menace, you're like, oh, Anakin was created by the Force. We don't know. He just got created, right? And the whole story of, what is it, like, Plagueis doing stuff with the Force, and like he unknowingly created Anakin or whatever it was, or I don't know, something like that.
He planted a seed or
something. Trying to experiment, or I don't know why he was trying to experiment with creation and all that stuff, or I don't know. So this happens before that, I would assume, I guess, right? I don't know. Like, it seems weird, and not the fact that one carried it and one created. Like, Mother Anastasia created them, and Coral carried them. Which whatever, right? But Mother Anastasia created them. So how did she create them? You know what I mean? Like,
Let's start with the. Let's back up a little bit to the tales of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yes.
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
And how the dark side of the Force can bring you to do many things that are considered unnatural. The one thing I will give them, one thing I'll give whoever wrote this, they also use the word unnatural. That's your pro.
That's true.
That's your pro. That's all I've got.
That was the one day Filoni was on set.
That was the
day. He put that word. He's like,
Leslie, we gotta use unnatural.
Yeah. That's my only pro here.
Yeah.
So we talked about how Darth Plagueis was so powerful and so wise in the Force that he could manipulate the midichlorians to create life.
Right.
Obviously, it took a powerful Dark Lord of the Sith to do this, probably with the help of his apprentice, who goes down as arguably the most powerful Sith Lord of all time.
Right, but they probably learnt it from lore of some sort of magic people such as these witches, right?
Let me finish. I'm getting there. It's all coming together. It'll come together.
Okay.
Give you a second.
All right.
But even Palpatine, as he's talking about it, lets you know this is not something that came by easy. This isn't something that we just sat there and said, "Oh, let's go create some force sensitive children today."
Achoo. Oh, here you go.
Yeah. Snap of the fingers. Here we go. Presto. Ain't like that. It ain't like that. So
I would say most of what he had to do, though, is study some sort of magic from a different culture or a different whatever.
I'm getting there.
Thing. All right.
Now, leading into that point, sure, it is possible that this coven of witches had the knowledge.
Oh, we don't have spoiler alert, guys.
Oh.
I just realized. Sorry. Sorry.
That is fixed.
All right.
All right. It is absolutely 100% a possibility that this coven of witches had the knowledge to make this happen. But that's where my problem lies. When Mother Anastasia is talking about the thread, and again, I don't have a problem. I also don't have a problem with you having a different interpretation of the Force. Whether you want to call it the Force, the thread, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, you call it what you want to call it. You kind of... Your ideas of it were a little perverted, but in the end of the day, you still had the right idea. So I could let that go. That's not a problem. But you could clearly see these witches are not remotely as powerful in the Force as a Sith Lord would be. So at that point, I get the point of the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Whatever it is. Obviously, it takes all of you together. It's going to take all of you together to handle fighting something like that. And you ain't winning anyway.
I don't know. I've never seen a Sith Lord put a tattoo on somebody's head with the power of many. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, man.
Moving right along. When they were talking about what they did, it was... I mean, Coral comes out and says, well, I carried them. And Anastasia very abruptly and matter-of-factly goes, well, I created them. Very much like, oh, we do this every Tuesday. It didn't sound like if she had come out afterwards and said, do you know what it takes to make this happen? Do you know what we had to go through to make this happen?
I feel like there was a lot of emphasis, though, on it being a difficult task. They talk about how they hadn't done it in such a long time and all that kind of thing.
But they made it sound like it was it was easy for them to just make it happen.
I don't think that at all, because like I said, if it was easy, they would have more children. Like, it's like they're acting like it's the most rare thing any of them have ever seen.
And that leads me to my next point. We have two twins. They haven't touched on the subject yet, and I'm afraid they're going to touch the subject at some point. Are we going to start calling these two the chosen ones?
Please don't. Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, obviously, in what I saw, We can do this every Tuesday. We can make a new set of chosen ones whenever we need to.
Yeah, the chosen one. Chosen one for the week of June. This and during the harvest. These guys are the chosen ones.
Just don't. If you're gonna, don't lead me down that path.
Well, they're all dead, right? The witches from that coven, so it's not like they're gonna be
but like I said,
making more.
If they had some kind of old text or something, and it showed how to do this, and they showed Plagueis looking through this text and saying, and maybe showing some interest in it, and maybe a few years down the line, they try to make this happen. Okay, I could see it. I could see. Hey, I mean, obviously, it's not something that they instantly knew, because even Palpatine once he turns Anakin over, he says we have a lot of work if we're going to make this happen. Because obviously Palpatine didn't have this stuff in front of him.
He could be talking about the reading of the text written by Anastasia, the ancient witch that did this a long time ago, right? That's what I'm saying. Like we have to remember we're talking about like way before all that stuff. So,
but
it's very possible this is the like source of that magic.
And like I said, I don't have a problem with this being the source of that magic. They just didn't emphasize enough how hard this should have been for them, especially since they do not have the power of two very powerful Sith Lords that work to do this, and they said they had trouble making it happen.
Yeah, but like look at the Night Sisters. I would say they are also not as powerful as a Sith Lord, but reanimation is something that comes very easily to them. They just rub an orb and then it goes, and then people are revived. So, you know, I feel like it's like,
I think there's something more to creating a zombie. I don't know. I mean, between creating a zombie and creating life from nothing.
Definitely two different things. I'm just saying, like, but they don't need to be as powerful as a Sith to do their own specific magic, is what I'm kind of getting at there.
I mean, I don't
like the Sith. The Sith become powerful by interpreting other people's magic.
And as far as the witches, I don't think they're an offshoot of the Night Sisters. I think they are their own thing, and I'm okay with that. In fact, I don't want them to be an offshoot of the Night Sisters because this is an opportunity to open up the world a little bit. Let it open.
That's true. But one thing that I just remembered that kind of made me think of Night Sisters a little bit. First time we see Zabrak, that species, on the big screen, so that's kind of cool. But the Zabrak are the same race that mostly populates Dathomir during the era of the Night Sisters. So that kind of made me think there could be a potential correlation, maybe.
And I understand that, but it didn't necessarily have to be.
But I did like that they had Zabrak. That's a race that I always thought was really cool, and now we have it in live action, so that's kind of cool.
We've seen it only one other time.
Who was that?
Darth Maul.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's right.
There is one other thing I kind of, before we go on, there's one other thing that I do want to touch on, and we should have done this during the last episode, but it didn't really come to my attention until now, and it was like, wow, I really if I had seen it then, I probably would have said something. Going back to the very first episode of this series, when we meet Yord for the first time, he has an apprentice with him. A little girl, and we haven't seen her since, and I'm surprised we haven't seen her since because, I mean, Yord's off on all these adventures. Why aren't you bringing your Padawan along with you?
Yeah, but I agree. That is weird.
But again, I'm letting it go for now.
Yeah, I feel like the first adventure when Saul was only allowed to bring like a small group or whatever, and he went and they saved Oshi off the ledge there. I feel like that was that one I could understand because yeah, it's a small group. He's not allowed to bring her or whatever. But then, like you said, after that, they're doing other stuff and she's still not there. So
Her name is Padawan Tassiloa.
Yes, Tassiloa.
Tassiloa.
Now, one thing people don't seem to understand is Tassiloa is a Zygerian. Zygerians, there's a big arc in the Clone Wars series about the Zygerians and how they are well-known slavers. They are haters of the Jedi by craft. It's known how much they hate the Jedi because the Jedi are against everything they stand for. Yet you managed to go in to this planet where they live, where they would have attempted to kill you on sight, and you were able to bring home one of their children who was Force sensitive to be trained as a Jedi.
Maybe this story is why they hate the Jedi. Not sure.
It just seems it just seems highly unlikely that this would have happened. I have a feeling they would have killed her before they let her get taken by the Jedi. Because even in that episode, those episodes where they were in the Clone Wars, where they were torturing Obi-Wan unbelievable amount. Ahsoka was basically left out on her own in a cage, and Anakin was basically having to do things he didn't want to do to basically keep the two of them alive. Because of the lady who was the queen or whatever. Through the whole thing, it was always talking about how they wanted to break these Jedi, how they wanted to ruin these Jedi for good. And because basically a broken Jedi for them was a prize unlike anything they could ever have wanted. And yet, again, you were able to go get one and turn her into one of your Padawan. And Yord's Padawan of all people. I mean, let's say Sax. Yord is probably my least favorite person in this show.
No, really?
Yeah, I've been very vocal about that.
There is sorry, I'm just looking up because I didn't know all this about this race and stuff. Well, I mean, maybe I did, but it was locked in the depths of the memory. But anyways, yeah, apparently there was also another Jedi, like previous, like shoot, what does it say? High Republic era that was also a Zygerian, but it's only those two.
Razala Terabal, yeah. There's two that served in the order during the High Republic era. And then there was one during the Republic era that served. They were a Jedi master. But anyways, yeah.
Apparently the Zygerians were the ones that enslaved Shmi Skywalker in Anakin's dream as well. Apparently.
So not hoping things along here. But anyway, I'll stop there because we do need to move on, and I know there's more I could say about this episode that I didn't like. But at this point, I'm gonna move on.
But yeah, it seems that they they don't like Jedi because the Jedi are against slavery, so they stop them from slaving, and that's their main bread and butter.
Yeah.
So kind of makes sense.
I was reading through the synopsis or whatever, and it actually says that Kelnacca was a Padawan in that
Oh.
flashback scene.
Hmm.
It says Padawans Torben and Kelnacca. So he must have been, I guess that was 16 years before, right? So, I mean, I guess he could have been, but I mean, Wookiees, they live for a long time, don't they?
They do.
So,
Yeah. They did show Torben look. Oh, I guess we haven't read that that episode yet, but yeah, they did show Torben looking even younger.
No, Torben was in this episode.
oh yeah, that was in the same episode.
No, the
Yeah,
other.
it was this episode.
Oh, was it this episode?
But you know,
Oh.
He didn't have the receding hairline and
Mm-hmm.
and the scar over the eye that
Okay.
was supposed to make him look older, but it did not.
So yeah, 16 years before he got the scar on, or before he, before that first time that we see him, shouldn't he have been like super like baby?
but I mean,
So there's actually in the background on the ship, when they have Osha on their ship, they go back to Coruscant. I'm pretty sure you can see Torben in the background. I think somebody pointed this out. I didn't point it out, but you can see Torben in the background, and he's like holding his face, like, and there's like blood or something. I don't know. I haven't gone back to look, but somebody had said it. So,
but
all that stuff.
But now it leads me to the question of why would you leave that out if that was the cause? I mean, it's almost like you don't. I get the feeling in this show like you don't want to answer the questions that people are going to be asking.
Well, I think it's leaving it open for it's another, like, this is, again, we don't know a huge what happened there. Like, they went from, Mae throwing the fire on the door to the entire facility blowing up and Saul coming, run around right there. He was in the building already, right? He ran around the corridor, and there's bridge. Mae falls, right? And he saves Osha, but like there's a whole chunk of this where I feel like, the Jedi were battling somebody. Maybe they were the ones who killed the witches. Maybe they. In the next episode, there's there's like Saul was there. I feel like I feel like he had an interaction with, I don't know, maybe I don't know about the dark side user, but because there's certain things that he does in the next episode where it's just like he can sense something that's going on, but nobody else can. You know what I mean? Like there's something that he's not. There's still a mystery about him. So there is a battle, and that's what they're leaving out, right? Like there's more to this and we're gonna see the other side of it, I think.
You could tell he's definitely the Jedi Master of this group. So,
well, of
I
course. Yeah, I'm not denying that.
So his ability to sense things that I can understand.
Well, maybe I guess.
Because you brought it up now, it does lead me to another question. This is a Jedi Master, a fairly esteemed Jedi Master here. He seems like he's a well-liked Jedi amongst his peers. He, except for Nestor Rowe, who for some reason keeps giving him crap at every turn, which don't understand that. But
because she's aimed towards like the politics of the situation rather than whatever
right.
Loyalty to him, so to say.
Right. It does lead me to a question there, though. I mean, he comes in, he sees Osha and Mae on their little bridges about to fall and die. And when the bridges fall, he reaches out and he's able to grab Osha's arm. You're a Jedi Master. You couldn't have thought to use the Force and save them both?
Yeah, no doubt.
A Jedi
I
Ma-
guess so. I didn't
I
think of
kinda
that.
thought at the time too. I'm like, why didn't he use the Force there?
It's
What
like you're supposed to be a Jedi Master. If you were like a Padawan, a new Jedi Knight, I would expect you at least try. A Padawan I can understand if you can't do it, just yet. But a Master, this should be easy. This should be light work for you.
Yeah. Actually, now that you say that, even in the future, like 16 years later, when he saves Osha, when she like is standing on the cliff
He
for
actually
unknown
uses
reasons.
The Force to
Well,
stop
he
her,
uses
pull her
it,
back
but he
up.
definitely looks like he's struggling, right? Like it looks like it's the first time he ever used it. I don't know. Like he's like shows him like laboring to save her. So
But that
yeah.
also makes the point. Like 16 years before that, he should have been more stronger in it, right? Like if you're saying
Yeah.
that he might be losing or something like that, like
Yeah,
you know.
I'm just saying, like maybe this guy's, not as strong as he should be, as that type of a Jedi Master.
Maybe he has different strengths. Maybe that's possible. But it's still that one should still be light work for a Jedi Master. I'm sorry.
I agree.
So
Yeah, like if that was Anakin, who would like reconstruct the bridge with the Force.
yeah,
Well, we're talking about the one of the most strongest Jedi
Yeah.
that ever lived, right?
Right, but I'm just saying.
Compared to Master Soul.
Come on, be Anakin. Do better.
Come on, yeah, be Anakin. You don't know him yet, but be him.
you'll understand it. You'll understand in 50 years.
Or Yoda.
Yeah.
Yoda, right? I'm sure.
Or
I'm
maybe
sure
he
could
won't.
also do.
Yeah.
I still feel like none of these people are going to survive. I feel that's hopefully that's how they end this, but
I mean, probably none of them should survive.
they shouldn't.
The reason I think that is not the case is because I don't think this is a Sith Lord with the red lightsaber. But
However, before we continue this,
yeah, we should probably talk about that.
I want to segue into the next
We just jumped
into the next episode because
we've already brought it up.
I want to properly go at this.
Oh, I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
All right, I'll read this one.
Okay, I'm just gonna be right back.
Okay.
You guys go ahead.
Did he say to go?
All right, you say go ahead.
Okay, so episode 4. This one is titled Day. So it's like the only episode. Oh no, the next. Okay, first 2 episodes had this split title, and then this last 2 episodes didn't. So, anyways, directed by Alex Garcia Lopez, written by Claire Keichel and Cor Adana. Mae and Qimir begins searching for Kelnacca on Khofar, where he has isolated himself in a forest. Saul discusses Mae with several Jedi Masters who believe her master must be a fallen Jedi. They send him and Osha to apprehend Mae with a group of Jedi, including Yord and Jeki. On Khofar, they use the Tynan tracker Basil to begin searching for Kelnacca by following his scent. Osha's connection to the Force begins to grow again, and she connects with a large bug in the forest, which attacks them and is killed by Soul. Mae begins to feel that her mission to kill a Jedi without a weapon is impossible and no longer relevant to her now that she knows Osha's alive. She captures Qimir in a trap and rushes to turn herself into Kelnacca, with Osha and tell the Jedi what she knows about her master. However, she finds Kelnacca has been killed by someone using a lightsaber. The others soon arrive and surround Mae, ordering her to surrender before she can do anything. her master appears behind them. The figure activates a red lightsaber and uses the Force to attack Osha and the Jedi. Now, I'm going to say one positive thing before. I did like the last scene of this. I thought it was pretty. Even though some people are like, "Oh, he's floating down," I thought it was pretty cool. You know, and obviously this is a very powerful Sith or Force user or something, because he just flicks like this, and if you're able to do all that, unless you caught everybody off guard, like you can flick somebody off like this and just blow up the whole scene. You got to be strong at something. So I thought that whole scene was pretty cool. That was probably my favorite part of that episode. Now, if you can take it here, Eldor.
I'll start with the pros. I agree with you.
You go. Yeah.
I'll start with the pros. I agree with you. It
Okay.
was a fairly well done scene. I don't feel like he floated in on them. As far as
What?
like he floated in on the scene, it just felt like he kind of walked up and just.
Oh, I thought he like ascended down or something. But
And it's possible. Maybe I didn't go back and watch it since the first time.
I'm picturing. I thought he like walked up behind them, but maybe he did float down, or
Okay.
she. I mean,
I'll have to watch it again.
But that being said, there was one thing. The way he flicked Osha away was kind of cool. I just kind of liked the way that happened.
Just what?
and obviously we've seen that part in the trailers where he basically force pushes all the Jedi away.
Yeah.
And people, I know there's people are going to say, wow, he has to be really powerful Sith or dark side user at least. I'm gonna almost take this from the other angle and say maybe the High Republic Jedi were not as strong as
Clone
we
Wars
thought.
era kind of thing.
Well, because and the reason,
like, all the strong ones are on the council too, right?
well,
These are not council Jedi, right?
right, these aren't, number one, these aren't Council Jedi. Number two, you do have a couple Padawans in there, a couple of Knights. It's not like we're looking at a bunch of Jedi Masters here. And the other part is the Jedi of prequel era were battle tested. So, yeah, if they were facing off again, they had to face off against Dooku. Dooku was powerful. Dooku was powerful. He could toy with Jedi. You could see it in the way he trained Grievous. Grievous was made to be powerful. Wield 4 lightsabers at once. Overwhelm a Jedi. I think they would have wiped out this group of Jedi with no problem. It wouldn't have even been a question. So to say that this guy could like force push them like that, yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility in my mind, because I'm looking at them and I'm saying they don't come off as strong as they should be.
Yeah, they come from an era of peace, like you were saying, right?
Yeah, so I mean, sure, you were taught. I mean, like in the early part of the episode where they're showing what's her name, Jackie Lan, practicing with the practice sabers.
Yeah,
and they're like tightening things up, and it's all more like book knowledge rather than real battle testing.
Right.
So yeah, I could see where this guy could come out and look really powerful next to them, but if you had put him up against, say, if it was Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka stand there, Anakin's probably just sitting there like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, it was like a little wind bush. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
So
I can see it from your end. I can see that. Yep.
So for that,
Force push also is a fairly basic Force user ability too.
So from that angle, I'm gonna give this a benefit of the doubt.
Okay. I can see that.
Let's get into the bad of this episode. and I feel like I'm gonna be. You wanted to tour around this. I feel like I'm coming through the wall like the Kool-Aid man right now.
Well, that was the last episode. This one here, I don't care. Like, it was the, I don't know, there were some touchy things in the last episode.
I feel like it was too short to feel anything about it.
I feel like
that's the start.
Over?
That's the start. Yes.
Yeah, that is the start of it. I mean, though from what I've heard, this is the shortest episode. So
This was under 30 minutes.
right.
Oh, it's 34 minutes, I
No,
believe.
but
Unless
it's
you
like
cut
Well,
out the
but you gotta add a
credits and-
5 minute 5 minutes of what happened last episode.
Mhm.
Yeah.
True.
5 minutes
True.
of
True.
credits, 5 minutes of this, like.
You're right.
So another thing I'm going to reference as I go through this is Claire Keichel, the one that wrote this episode. She did end up on X, or Twitter as we call it, or we call it X now. And she answered questions, and I was surprised that they let her answer questions. So
Interesting.
that's why we know this is the shortest episode of the series right now. We were told
Yeah,
the next
episode
episode will be
2
longer.
is only 4. Episode 2 is only 4 minutes longer too. So.
So
Okay.
the first thing I'm gonna get into is Kelnacca. Now, we've had this idea of a Wookiee Jedi flash before us for how long now? I was finally gonna.
I think from Celebration.
Yeah, I think
Celebration.
all of us were excited at this idea of we're gonna get to see a Wookiee Jedi in action, and all I got to see was him run up on two guys, scream, throw something at them, and run into this building.
And we saw him making lunch or doing something with his family or something for a little brief period.
Did he have family? Didn't look like
Well, they
there's anybody
showed
there but
like
him.
four Wookiees, and they were like preparing food or something.
Was there 4
4
Wookiees?
Wookiees? I didn't see 4.
3. It was either 3 or 4.
There was only one. I didn't see any other Wookiees.
Yeah, I only
No,
saw.
there was a bunch of them hanging out. Maybe after we watched this,
Were you watching the same show?
Yeah, because I didn't see
Yeah,
the
I'm
other
pretty
Wookiees
sure.
either.
Pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, it showed him looking all like composed, like not
He was making
savage,
something.
like, and then he
Like,
was
he was
like making
making
something,
something.
and then the other Wookiees like, "Ah," they're like eating something. I don't know.
No, I
No,
don't think so, man.
this didn't happen.
I think you're gonna rewatch the episode, bro.
Yeah, I think so.
But
But also, sorry, something about what you're saying, like how we had all this build up to this Wookiee. We also had that article where the actor is talking about how he was so happy he got to do this different personality than Chewbacca and blah blah blah. And anyways, go on.
and where did we see this personality?
Nowhere.
Okay, wasn't just me. Wasn't just me.
No, I agree.
Okay,
I
okay.
agree.
Okay,
I mean,
go ahead.
I get how he looks now, but I'm still, you know, we're gonna see him in action. We still gonna see it. We're still gonna see it. I guarantee you.
I think you
Okay,
could be right. I
so-
hadn't really thought about it that way, but once you brought it up that like there is possibly more to that story that we haven't seen yet, it kind of does make sense for sure.
I still
No.
feel like we're gonna see a Wookiee swinging a lightsaber. I still see it.
I mean, the only thing that sucks is that she has since put up. She's protected her Twitter account, so you can't go and read into it anymore.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate. Because
Well,
I would have
Disney
loved.
going. What are you doing?
Disney basically went and told her to shut up. Yes.
Well, either that or she's like, yeah, she like block it, whatever, and you're fired. Like, you know.
Which
So
again,
she was just answering questions without authority to do so. Is that what we're saying, or is that what happened?
that's probably what happened. I'm trying to like fly through quick while I'm talking here and see if I can pull some of these things. Getting back to Kelnacca. Obviously, we were hoping that we finally get to see Mae go in and talk to Kelnacca. Kelnacca's already dead. Slashed down. One of the things that was there was this Cleric Eichel. She had written down that we had actually made a scene of him fighting and losing, but it was something like we had to keep the time down, and it didn't fit the point of view that we were trying to match for the story. So we had to take it out. Now, the point of view that I saw, maybe it's just me, it was of a bunch of Jedi walking around in the woods, walking around. On the other side, it was two dark side users, or my mistake, a dark side user and her attaché, we'll call him, because we don't technically know who he is yet. Yeah. Walking through the woods until he got trapped up and that's another ramp. We're gonna get back to that in a minute. At what point?
Well, she trapped him, right?
At what point do the utter excitement of walking through the woods for 26 minutes? My mistake, 23 minutes, because that's all the episode was. Could we not have used something like that? A little bit of a fight, right, yeah. Something, anything to make this episode more interesting. It was
cut out the journey, not the fight. I agree.
Yeah, not for nothing. This, I mean, it's not my least favorite episode, but oh my god, it was boring.
Yeah. Okay. I thought this whole episode was full of useless conversation. Most of it, in my opinion.
Like, and I agree.
The stuff with Jackie in the beginning, I was like, why are we? Why do we have to get into this? Like,
we don't got time for that.
With this stuff, we don't have time for this. We got like 8 episodes, and this episode is 25 minutes long, and we're starting off with this.
With small talk,
it
essentially.
Seems like and I think there's like something going on between where somebody has like a crush on the other one. Like, why do we need this? Right?
It's
25 minutes to tell a story, and we're doing this. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that way we know when they're getting married, why it happened, how it happened.
Like, and then the useless walking through the whole friggin' jungle. You know what I mean? Like, walking around in circles. They have this tracker that looks like a.
Oh yeah, the tracker,
weasel, like, or some sort. I don't know, man. Like,
screams, squeals.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. We have a tracker.
Basil.
Great, Basil. Whatever their name
Whatever it is, giant weasel.
And at some point, Yord goes to ask Osha a question, and she says, "Does he or they have to need something for whatever it was they're doing?" Because we had to make sure we got Basil's pronouns right.
Yeah.
The only thing the only thing that was missing from that was the dumb chink and her like popping out with the jazz hands. Like, we got it in, folks. It's like it brought nothing to the story.
Yeah.
I don't care. Again, it's not about the pronoun. It's about the fact that if it's going to bring something legitimate to the story, then I understand. It brought nothing to the story. Did you care?
It was just another useless conversation. Like, it was it was full. The whole episode was full of like 20 to 25-second like intervals of useless dialogue that didn't really do anything for me. Like, didn't do anything for a lot of people. I would imagine, because it just, like, we're not watching a daytime soap opera here. We're watching Star Wars. Like,
Yeah,
get on with the story.
I feel like the one conversation that did kind of hold some value was the conversation between Mae and her whatever her attaché, as Eldor calls it.
Skyrim is his
Because
name.
at least there you could feel some friction where he's feeling extra loyal and she's feeling less loyal to this master of theirs, and so I feel like that kind of lent
That kind of had
something
something
to
to
the
do with the
story.
story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it had something to do with, the mission or like whatever it is. But most of everything else was just
Yeah.
why? Like,
But that brings me to another thing. Now, at the beginning of this episode, she's raring to go into these woods to find Kelnacca so that she can figure out how to kill him without a weapon. And she gets through. She's still pumped about going to do this. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kyram's up in the trap. I don't need to kill him. I'm just gonna go surrender to him.
it's like the quickest turnaround
Well,
ever.
she trapped him, right? Like when he walks away, she grabs the rope and starts preparing it, right? So she's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess they're showing that she's having this internal conflict where she's like, am I loyal to my sister who I tried to kill, or this master or whatever?
But where did it come from? It's out of nowhere. Literally out of nowhere. She was all in.
Portion of the story. It's not even there. Like,
she was all in on doing this 5 minutes ago. All of a sudden,
maybe
snap
it's
of the
about
fingers.
Osha arriving. Maybe it's about Osha arriving on that planet, and then she was starting to feel the bond with her sister. Which, by the way, in real life, twins do have a bond like that, not just through the Force.
of course.
But I mean, you're expecting me to really. I mean, how hard do I have to really push myself to even come up with
justify that? Right.
Justify. That's the word I'm looking for. Because there's nothing here. I mean, we clearly saw at the beginning of this episode, because that's another thing. When it came time for Osha to shoot Mae, she couldn't do it. But 5 minutes later, while she's trying to set up her date with Jackie Lan, she's also talking about how Mae is no longer her problem. I'm leaving. Yeah. I want nothing to do with this place, and the Jedi could take care of it. Until she had no choice but to go on this mission. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wait a minute. Where did that come from? You cared 10 minutes ago. Now suddenly you don't give a shit. Excuse my language. It's all out of nowhere. We get no background. We get no reason for the change of heart. Nothing. And it's just making me wonder what am I trying to follow here? Because once I think I know what's going on, you snap your fingers and you change the whole thing completely out of nowhere.
This is the problem with a show that has 8 episodes and, limited time to tell stuff. I'm sure there was a full story, and I'm sure there was much more stuff that they wanted to put in this show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And honestly, I think that's one of the answers that this Claire Keichel. I found most of the tweets, like the questions and stuff that she answered and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she said something about there's only so much you can put in this stuff, and they had to, they have budgets and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
and you can't win me with that one because
Yeah,
number
it's
one,
not-
you had $180 million budget.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Where is this money? I don't see it.
Yeah, they used diamond fur on the Wookiee. That was it right there. Boom, done.
Okay, it says the show cost roughly 180 million for 8 episodes and took 4 years to make. 4
Wow.
years to make.
Wow,
180 million, 4 years to make.
that's crazy.
And essentially the story seems to be choppy. Chop.
Seems?
There's just sections.
Seems?
Okay, is choppy. Stuff missing. Yeah. But this is the stuff we're getting now from Star Wars, like the stuff we're getting.
So our dark side Force user, everybody, this narrative I keep hearing is Sith Lord, Sith Lord, Sith Lord. So anyways, if you guys recall, I studied in the trailer the hand of the saber hand of this person, and it is like without a doubt a female hand. Just so you guys know, female hand, and then it shows the hand again, looks slight like a female hand. So honestly, who I think this is Coral. She survived the witch hunt, so to say, or the explosion or whatever happened there, and she wants vengeance on the Jedi, and she's concealing her identity and somehow has a lightsaber. I think that's what the story is here.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, if it's Coral, I'm almost checked out. Because
I don't think it's a Sith Lord, no matter what, because it like during this era, it's Tenebrous who doesn't even use a lightsaber.
This is the way
they're trying to make this. I think they're trying to make this the it's the rule of 2 right now, right? The rule of 2, and I think this is the apprentice.
Oh, okay.
And Tenebrous is part of this, and she dies, and then I think this is how Plagueis gets. I don't know. There's something going on here. They're trying to connect something here, like, you know what I mean? Because Plagueis has to be around for Palpatine and all this stuff, right? So they're trying to connect something here, you know.
But yeah, we also see the stature.
because
We also see the stature of this person, that they're like approximately the same height as all these like humans. Whereas if it was Tenebrous, he would be towering over them as a mun.
Oh, I definitely don't. It's not Tenebrous. It's definitely not.
No. The Mune is actually Plagueis.
Or Mune. Oh yeah. Sorry, it was
Tenebrous is a Bith.
Bith. Yeah, that's right. So they are shorter. Maybe it is about that same stature. But either way, the girl hand thing, really, I feel very confident about that. As far as prediction,
Yeah, it's either, because I mean, to me it feels like they're trying to push us towards Qimir being the dark side thing, just the way that he's kind of reacted to certain things, and like his whole like
mystery.
Well, it's the mystery,
Mysterious.
but there's certain parts where like he knows, like when Osha comes in and she's pretending to be Mae, right? He knows it's not Mae, right? Like
he's like, you look just like her,
right? And he's like, you look just like her. And then like when he's tied up in the tree, when he falls for that trap and he's upside down, he just like turns. There's a little slight like, you know, he's not as clowny anymore. You know, like his characteristics different, right? When he's like, he'll kill you or whatever it is, and he'll kill us and all this stuff or whatever. I don't know. Like I feel like they're trying to push us towards him, but I feel like it is Coral or a witch. But Coral makes sense because of the story.
Yeah, and how she was a little bit more aggressive than the others.
What does Qimir have? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or this could be just any random person, because Star Wars likes to do that too, right? So I don't know, man. Like,
this could be another Wookiee. No, I'm just joking.
Gosh,
I mean,
It's Kelnacca.
He wasn't dead after all.
He wasn't dead after all.
Oh
That
yeah.
was,
Also, too, if they had a
false
fight,
prediction.
if they had a fight scene that they filmed with Kelnacca losing the battle, why then is he like sitting at his like table when he gets like when they discover him? Right, he's sitting
Well-
at the table all with the saber slash.
Well,
Yeah,
I
he
feel
could
like,
have fell into his seat. I mean,
Yeah, I guess.
I mean that's nitpicking at this point. We have, and I'm still not even done with all the stuff I want to talk about yet.
A picture. Well, to me, they painted a picture of somebody who died without a fight. That's how I felt about that scene. The way it was like, the way he was sitting there, nothing else around him is even disturbed. He's just sitting there with a big slash across his midsection.
It's the least of the story's worries at this point.
Yeah, I just mean I don't think they're telling the truth that there was a fight scene.
I mean,
sounds like BS.
Because the part that's still really hitting home right now is going back to the beginning of this episode, and right away we see Ki-Adi-Mundi in this episode. And a lot of people are coming at this and they're like, well, I don't understand why you're having a problem with this. It's definitely possible. Ki-Adi-Mundi was 70 years old when he died in Revenge of the Sith on that bridge.
Yeah.
So that means he was about 60 years old when he was in the Jedi Council during the Phantom Menace. Now, I have a problem with you bringing a Jedi from that period in as a cameo, even though you said there will be no cameos on this show. So we've already lied there. I don't have a problem with you bringing a cameo in anyway. There were at least 10 other Jedi that could have lived that long, that were in that era, that you could have brought in. And you had to bring the one in that goes out of his way to say, we haven't seen the Sith in over a millennia. Mm-hmm. And yet you have him in the middle of this situation, looking at Sol, looking at Vernestra Rowe, listening to everything that's happening. We don't necessarily know it's a Sith, but we know something's wrong.
He does refer to it as a Jedi, but
fallen Jedi, yeah,
a fallen Jedi or whatever. Or was that him, or was that somebody else said that?
Well, that's the thing.
Oh, okay, that was Vernestra. Okay, yeah.
But that's the thing. As of right now, he's wondering what's going on.
Right.
Right now, you've left this book wide open, and you've set it up to completely retcon some really important stuff that we had in the prequels.
Age thing that really surprises me too, because they're usually very like, what's the word, like focused on not letting things like that happen, inaccuracies or whatever.
And that brings me to my next point, because Mr. Andy Beads, I'm sure there's a Twitter note from Claire Keuchel there talking about how Dave Filoni had to sign off on this.
Yeah, I think I just read that.
Well, don't worry, I'll wait.
I don't see it there, but I'm pretty sure I read something saying that everything usually goes through obviously Dave. Maybe it was on something else. What was I reading?
The way I remember it being written was the first day. I don't think we mentioned it. We didn't really bring it to him, but he had to sign off on it before it was done. So that means he had to go over it at some point, which means this had to go through our chief creative officer, Filoni. It had to go past Pablo Hidalgo. Had to go past the keeper of the holocron. can't think of his name right now. Leland Chi, and all the other people in the Star Wars creative division, and they let this one go. Doesn't bode well. That one kind of hurts my opinion of Dave Filoni a little.
Yeah, it
Filoni,
definitely reduces the credibility of what I thought as well.
Because
for sure,
that's a big one.
Yeah.
If we come to find out somewhere along the way, all these Jedi are killed off. We don't know that it's a Sith that did it. Maybe it was they find some way to work this out. Okay, whatever. I don't see this happening. I'm just not confident enough with the writing that I've seen to see this come out smoothly. I'm sorry. Because I've even seen an article where they're making predictions for episode 5, and there was a group of 8 Jedi there that went down this road, that went with Osha, go after this, go after Kelnacca, and that was 8 Jedi that got force pushed by Zipperface. They're predicting, and you know what the prediction was? 5 Jedi will die in this episode. 5. So basically, they're banking on Sol, Yord, and Jeki to all live, along with Osha, probably Mae, and the other
randoms.
The other Star Trek red shirts, as we probably call them, are all going to die.
The red shirts, yes, the red shirts, exactly.
And so now I'm worried that we're going to see these people end up making it back to Coruscant at some point and telling what they saw. Yeah, we saw. Yeah, they had a red lightsaber. They knew the dark side very well, and suddenly it invalidates everything.
Well, again, red lightsaber doesn't necessarily mean Sith Lord, in my opinion.
User of the dark side.
Yes.
It
dark side force user for sure, but not necessarily a Sith Lord.
Because when this happened in Phantom Menace, and we had Qui-Gon Jinn in front of the council, he's like, they had a red lightsaber. They were trained in the Jedi. They were users of the dark side. They were trained in the Jedi arts. I mean, it leads you to think the first place your brain has to go as one of these Jedi is the Sith. I mean, we're not thinking just some dark fallen Jedi if we don't know who the person is. The first place you gotta think is the Sith. And seeing that we haven't seen it over a millennia, well, no, we just saw one 50 years ago. So that's a lie. So,
okay.
And then another.
So
go ahead. I'll let you go.
Something I just found the quick thing here. So I found this on just a website. Fans have been questioning who authorized these decisions and why they. And unfortunately, it was Filoni. They're talking about the Coyote Mundi stuff. Claire Keichel, writer on episode 4, clarified that every script must ultimately receive Dave Filoni's approval. He has the ultimately approve them along with the rest of the Lucasfilm team. The Acolyte E4 writer Claire Keichel says Dave Filoni gives notes on all the scripts. So that's kind of that. So that's kind of worrisome. Unless she's lying about it, but
has Filoni addressed the public about the insane amount of outrage that, if you guys like, I don't know, you guys have
Like,
probably
oh.
seen it too. If you look at like all the Star Wars media on like YouTube, Twitch, anywhere, it's like very, very overwhelmingly negative. So
But
yeah.
that's the thing. It hurts me to do this. I don't want to be this negative. I don't. But you're putting it in front of me like this. What am I supposed to
But what
do?
I'm saying is, like, has Filoni addressed it? Because I feel like until he does, people like might burn down the world.
I don't think no. Filoni has. I don't think Filoni has addressed it. I don't
Like,
think
I think
anybody's
they're
gone to.
constructing a Death Star right now as we speak, probably.
Well, they're just gonna let Mae burn everything down.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
Yeah,
I said,
because people are very mad, big mad.
and another thing, we're gonna go back to this Claire Keuchel again. There was another post about bringing in Kiadi Mundi, and she said at one point they considered using Yoda in this scene. Why?
I got the post right here. So somebody wrote,
Well, using Yoda would make sense. He's definitely on, like, in the High Republic era and is likely on the council by this time.
No, you don't want
No?
Yoda in this scene at all. Yoda, this is news to Yoda too when it's presented to him in the Phantom Menace.
Right, but at least it's somebody who would be alive and on the council at that time compared to somebody who's not.
You're horribly retconning. You're making it even. I think you're making it even worse if you put Yoda in that spot.
in the sense of the race, yes, because Yoda's race lives longer, obviously. But yeah, having anybody like this is just a cameo thing that they threw in there.
Right, but
Just
Yoda
to have-
is in the High Republic content, is what I
Oh,
mean. Like the
he
books.
is.
Of course he is. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
He's
fine.
there, and you,
Yeah.
and he can stay in the background because I don't necessarily think we need to see him at all. Like,
I mean, it's like I said.
Yeah, but he's on the Jedi Council. If you're showing the Jedi Council,
But is he on the
if we
council
see
yet?
it, we haven't seen the council.
oh,
yet.
okay,
Yeah, we don't know the
yeah.
council yet.
We have not seen.
He may not be a part of the
That's
council
just
yet.
random.
Venestra.
Oh,
Venestra's
okay.
the only one, right?
Yeah.
Because she's on the High Council, I think, at this point too, right? But she's the only one that hasn't, like, we've seen on the High Council.
I see.
But so yeah, so the thing was, so somebody asked her, you wrote the episode? Well, then I have a question. Why is Kai Adimundi in it? One, he wasn't even born yet, and two, he's not supposed to know anything about the Sith. So this is her response. He doesn't know anything about the Sith. Why would he? And we offered the part to Yoda, but he wasn't tech available, so a young Coyote Mundi stepped in for the part. That was her response.
Leading to, or lending to what I was saying, that this is not a Sith. Boom. There we go. Done. Easy.
They have
Mystery solved.
Okay, but she's only written one episode of this of this show, and we have nothing that has proven that they can land this properly without residual damage.
So the biggest problem, and it's not him being, that's part of the problem. It's them making his age longer. Like they.
Oh
they
yeah, sorry. What did
extended
she
his
say
age.
about that? Like
No.
did she say something about the
She
age?
didn't say no, but
Oh,
this was
okay,
brought
okay.
up. His actual age was extended an extra 40 years in Wikipedia. They changed it, right? So it would make sense, right? And hoping that nobody would catch it, right? But obviously.
But technically,
wow.
but technically, before all this went down, he was born in 93, the year 93 before the Battle of Yavin. This is currently taking place at the year 132 before the Battle of Yavin.
Right.
So we just looked at a
even
negative.
40 years isn't quite enough, is it? Wouldn't that mean he's like a baby?
He's at negative 40 years old right now.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if they added 40 years, he would just be like a baby, wouldn't he? At this time.
Yeah, so basically we added 70 years to him, really.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So now he's at the age where he should be dying in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
He does die, doesn't he?
Yes.
But not by natural causes, no.
No, he dies in Order 66.
Yeah.
And up to this point, when you go to the Phantom Menace, when you look at the Jedi Council, the top 3 Jedi on the Council at that time are Yoda, Mace Windu, and Ki-Adi-Mundi. So this guy's worked his way up to number 3 in the Council. And, I mean, you're not a moron to be the 3rd most powerful Jedi in the Council. So, to sit here and make it sound like
all 3 of them were morons because Sidious just totally pulled the wool over their eyes, no problem.
But he didn't now, because he knows all about it. Because we decided to write him into the Acolyte to make it make no sense.
And then there's a whole thing here, like the first thing in the biography in Wikipedia, it's all about the murder mystery thing. So it's like
Really?
the coyote, like that whole scene is right there, the first of it, right?
I mean, it's like I said, there were other Jedi that could have been brought into this situation that would have fit, it would have worked, and you could have made it, you could have adjusted it. Just don't bring in the one guy that goes out of his way to say, but the Sith haven't been seen in over a millennia.
I agree. Yeah.
With that, I'm done. I've got nothing left.
So I wonder, is it the same? It can't be the same guy who played him, right? Like,
I doubt it would be.
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, you kind of make him look the same, right? But I don't feel. I'm trying to look to see who played
Yeah,
him.
even like the original guy, you're probably seeing very little of his actual proper features because it's such a heavy amount of what do you call it? Effects.
Derek Arnold portrays him in The Acolyte. And Carson backstory. Yeah, I don't think they're the same people. Oh, Silas
Carson.
In the other ones. Okay. Just was obviously they can make him look similar, right? So that's what I was just curious. Okay, so my initial reactions though, like my initial reactions, because I didn't clue in right away, I was like, is that Coyote Mundi? Because I was like, is that Coyote Mundi? I think it's Coyote Mundi. And then like I had the subtitles on it saying Mundi. I was like, okay, all right, what's going on? And then so then I know a lot of people wanted or they were probably thinking that, and even myself in the trailer, I thought that the scene with when they were looking into the forest and Plo Koon, everybody was like, "Oh, that's another Keldor. That's a Keldor. That's Plo Koon, right?" And
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, it could be, I guess, but then yeah, it was clarified, and it makes more sense because if they're gonna kill all those Jedi, like, yeah, it's not Plo Koon, like, because we know how he died.
We see him later. Yeah.
We see him later.
Yeah.
But like my initial reaction, and I would with my buddy when I was watching, I was like, "Is that Plo Koon? Oh my goodness!" And then I forgot that it was in the trailer as well. But anyways, I got excited for like 5 seconds when I saw them. I was like, "Oh, this is cool." Wait a second. It didn't clue it because I was like, into the episode, so you're not really thinking per se in the moment. Like I usually don't, anyways. Like maybe other people are different, but like when I first watch an episode, I'm just trying to follow the story and not really think of anything else that's going on, like stuff that may or may not be right. You're just like, oh, okay. But anyways, I had a brief a brief fanboy moment.
And I mean, hey, I mean,
And
I
then
get
went
it.
away. I was like, wait a second.
It makes sense.
But I mean, that's the kind of reactions I think they're trying to get out of people who are like, I know that person. Oh, I know this character. I know that character, right? They're trying to get people to say that probably, or to notice that stuff, that kind of thing. So, what else? Okay, so along with for me, this, we're just gonna go like in the forest again. So, along with the useless conversations and the useless wandering around, even though they had
Tracker, yeah.
the tracker
Yeah.
just mysteriously got away from them. Yord's like, oh, where'd the tracker go? Well, we don't know where the tracker is. How do you not know where the tracker is? You just let it go? Like,
We need a
okay,
tracker
yeah,
for our
like,
tracker. Ha
we need a
ha
tracker for our tracker.
ha.
Like, oh my gosh, shut up. Like, but anyway, so the scene where they're walking through the big tall trees and those bugs are around the tree.
Oh yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Okay. So this scene here, I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. Like they're just walking through these big bugs or whatever. And so she touches one. And I'm going, don't touch it, man, don't touch.
Right.
Oh, she touched.
It's like that horror movie thing. It's like, don't open the door.
Yeah, exactly. So then okay, so then it flies up in the air, and then all of a sudden, it starts coming at them, and then Saul is just like, I got it. And then that was it. I was like, what the hell was the point of that scene? Like,
Yeah, I totally thought all the bugs were gonna like swarm them or something, you know?
I was like, and then it just moved on. I was like, there was nothing more to that scene. Okay, maybe. Okay,
They were attracted to the light. They came right at the
watching
saber.
light, I guess. I don't know. Well,
They did.
I mean,
They did say
buddy was
that.
like,
But
well, he was probably
So-
he was saying that maybe there might be something about the bugs in a later episode.
I think so.
I don't know. Maybe something will come up. But in that moment, you're just like, Saul killed a bug. All right.
Yeah.
Did you really need your lightsaber for that? I don't know. Like,
Apparently you
anyways,
did.
that was just something. That I was. It was another. I felt was kind of pointless, but
Yeah. It did seem like it's planting a seed for something that's gonna happen, but
well, I mean, the whole purpose of that, it felt like she was starting to get her powers back. So the whole purpose of that, after she told him
that
or
she
told
could sense
Lord that
it
she
or
could
whatever.
sense the bug or whatever it is, I guess. So I get that. It was just, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But, and again, the whole episode was weird. So it was,
They probably had to fight that whole swarm, but they had to cut it out of the show.
yeah, that was probably it. That was the start of the fight. And then they cut it. They did the Star Wars slide.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, they were all full of bug guts. Like, what happened?
That's why they're saying like the Kelnacca thing. They're just like, oh yeah, trust us. There was a really awesome episode, but it cost too much. We couldn't do it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't
excuses.
We couldn't fit it into our meager $180 million budget to
Yeah.
We'll just have more conversation if that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have more intervals of conversation.
Yeah, maybe they just had the bug thing because they're like, oh, we have to have a lightsaber in every episode. Or I guess there was lightsabers later. Never mind.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of them that came out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. What else? Was there anything else that I wanted to bring up? That was stuff that was weird.
It went by so quick. Like I said, that episode, I feel like I had to rewatch it. I did rewatch it. I watched it twice, but like real quick. So quick.
Oh, there was another thing. So when Qimir and Mae, so they first arrived on Khofar, right? And so there's a scene where they have all these like random misplaced canisters like in the field, and it's like all of their stuff that they were carrying around. So they had to take these canisters out of the ship, put it in the grass, and then take everything out of the canister. While like they couldn't have done that in the ship. Like I don't understand why they had to take all these canisters out and just like scatter them all over the place so they can take all the stuff out. And I don't know.
Yeah, that is a bit bizarre. I didn't really notice that, but
Yeah, did I?
Something silly. It's just something I saw. Maybe it was just weird to me. I don't know. What else? On the hunt.
one thing positive I thought was the jungle itself looked kind of nice. Like the visual effects of it looked good.
Yeah, I wonder where they filmed that. Probably say somewhere, but search for Kelnacca. Deeper in the forest. Second thoughts. Yeah, that whole second thoughts thing, like her just switching, just like that. It's just like she's sitting there. She's like, oh, I'm tired. I'll go get you some water. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, it's just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Just, whatever. Like, the master's going to kill you. I don't care. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Yeah, like a
Like,
bratty teenager.
But it's just like you go from episode 1 where she's like on the hunt, right? She's on the hunt. You're like, oh, she's like, she's trying to kill these Jedi without a lightsaber and all this stuff. Other than the way that she approaches them, which was totally, come at me with all your power. That was kind of stupid, but anyways, to go from that point, then go, episode 4 where she's just like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, well,
I want to be a good guy now.
If you guys recall, I was saying it wasn't believable that she was a bad guy in the first place. I feel like this is where she should have been the whole time.
Yeah.
Because like she doesn't look mean, she doesn't talk like a dark side person as we classically would see it in a Star Wars film and stuff like that.
And not for nothing, she doesn't show much emotion whatsoever.
Yeah, she just seems like a kid, like a high spirits kid,
I feel
like joking around and stuff.
Yeah. Sorry to go to another topic. So that whole scene with with the Coyote Mundi scene and all that stuff, they're discussing, and Vanestra doesn't want to. Like they're like, oh, we need to bring this to the Jedi Council, and then Vanestra's like, no, I think we can handle this ourselves. I feel like this is like the starting of the downfall of the Jedi doing stuff on their own and not bringing it to like some sort of council or some sort of like government thing. Possibly, that's what it felt to me.
Well, she's worried the Senate will start looking at them badly.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, whatever.
And their supporters or whatever.
Okay, I suppose. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so I did find out the
like rogue Jedis. Let's not tell anybody that we're doing this stuff. Like, I don't know. It kind of fits in with kind of the way the Jedi were, I guess, later on.
So I did find the filming location for that forest. It's called the Englefield Estate in Berkshire, England, and these are like the sort of the grounds of this esteemed country house in England.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes. Well, I mean, I guess.
I didn't know they had such gorgeous forest in a place like that, but yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
No.
In England.
Yeah, I'm actually not even really seeing pictures of it when I look up that place. It just shows like the manor is this like massive crazy building, but doesn't really show the forest much.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I kind of wanted to just here and there bringing up a few things, but I think the biggest thing was the Kaya thing in this episode that kind of split the whole or a lot of Star Wars fans, to be honest.
Yeah.
More so the fans, the real fans going this on the the negative end, and the the not so fans just going, oh, what's the problem? What's the big deal? Like, yeah, kind of split it all up. But yeah, that was kind of it.
Yeah, for me, like I always try to stay positive, but yeah, there is those majorly glaring issues that it's not cool. Not cool, especially when we talk about the integrity of what we expect in the Star Wars canon and all that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but again, episode 4, we still got 4 more episodes before we can fully. I mean, I know we're kind of judging now, but we'll see how it plays out, and we all have this sort of theory on how we feel like it's going to end, or how we feel it should end. But that could also be something different as well, because we know, like,
Yeah.
Star Wars likes to throw curveballs at us as well, right? Just like what they
Yeah.
did with Coyote Mundi.
For sure. But like I keep maintaining, like I feel like this is not a Sith, so we don't have to worry about that part of it. But I know everybody is up in arms about it for sure.
And I mean, I agree too, because I mean, they, again, even in that scenario when they were discussing the whole matter, like, I know he was listening and he chimed in or whatever it is, but they just, they said it was just a fallen Jedi. They didn't say anything about a dark side user or anything. So I still feel like it kind of maintains kind of what he said in Phantom Menace, but
Yeah.
hopefully this is like the only scene we see of Coyote Mundi, and he doesn't come back, and it's just like a one-off
It's like
thing.
him fighting with the master in the next episode.
Yeah.
What?
He's the master.
He's the master.
Like,
Okay, what are we
Leslie,
doing
I
now?
don't know if you did this right,
Oh man.
but Dave Filoni would have signed off on it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, but see, something like that. I don't know how that gets around Dave Filoni. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't understand if he knows the lore the way he should know it. You know what I mean? Something like
Yeah,
that
that's
shouldn't have
not even
happened.
like that's not even a deep cut either. That's like,
No,
one of the most watched films in Star Wars history. So
Phantom
yeah.
Menace. Yes,
Yeah.
like, it's something that he should know. Pablo should know. Like, all
Mhm.
the high up should know this. And this is like,
Mhm.
I feel like it's one of those things where Leslie just went around Dave and was like, "Hey, Kathleen, can you help me out on this one? I want to put in a cameo of one of the Jedi. I don't think Dave's gonna like it, but I think we should just slip it in." And Kathleen goes, "Okay, yeah, I'll talk to Dave. I'll talk to Dave." And then he just goes, yeah, just signing, not even looking, like,
Or like maybe because they talk about him giving notes on every episode, it's probably like on the notes, do not put Mundi in this movie.
Yeah.
Do not, do not, do not. And they're just
Yeah.
like, oh, I lost that page. It was gone. I don't
Yeah, I
know what
can see that too.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, do not put Coyote Mundi. Do not put Yoda. Do not put, you know what I mean? She's like, I didn't see those.
Yeah.
I didn't see
I
those.
didn't
The
see
page
that.
is ripped off here. It's Claire, like,
Oh, there was a smudge on my
it
glasses.
was coffee. I couldn't read your message.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that. That's funny.
uh,
Oh, I don't know, man. Anyways, I think we're done talking about these episodes.
we do have that news article about Leslie Hadlin talking about the Acolyte. I don't know if we should get into that or if we should.
I don't know. I don't per se want to talk about it, but you guys can talk about it if you want.
If you want to do it, then we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's necessary,
Okay.
to be honest. Like, it's whatever. Like, it's the
That's
way
fine.
that she sees the show or sees things, and I'm just like, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to change.
It's not going to change anything, no.
So, like, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, that being said, then I guess we can call this an episode. I think we've gone fairly heavy on the negative side of things, which
Yeah.
again,
we
I do.
presented some positivity here and there, not just me either. Like you were saying, a couple of different things.
I mean, I did try to bring some positive with the negative. I mean, unfortunately, today was a little more negative than positive. But I do want to say one thing. Again, I always have to preface that I'm not bringing negative because I think Star Wars sucks or Disney Star Wars sucks. Because there's stuff I very much like. Is there stuff I don't like? Of course there is. There was stuff that Lucas did that I didn't like. I still consider the Clone Wars movie to be one of the worst things that George ever thought of. Sorry, it just was terrible.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that being said, I do this because I just want to see the best Star Wars I can see. And I want everybody to experience good Star Wars. And I want something that everybody can come together and say, hell yeah, that was great stuff. Let's get some more of that. I mean, when you're looking at a Rotten Tomatoes score, and I don't put much faith in them anyway, but you see the critic score is 85% and the viewer score is 13%. Obviously there's something that's dividing the group of people. And why does everything that we do now in Star Wars have to divide everyone? And sure, we can go and say it's because of this and because of that. I don't buy into it. Some of the stuff is just done very lazy. Some of the stuff could be done a lot better. And people just don't want to accept that, hey, maybe I just didn't write this as well as I should have. At the end of the day, I know you guys agree with me on that. At the end of the day, I just want to see the best Star Wars that I can see. And I want something that everyone will enjoy at the end of the day. That's all I care.
I mean, listen, for me, it's
Very
like
fair.
you come out of, I use Star Wars as a thing to kind of disconnect yourself from the world. You're like, I want to dive into Star Wars. This is, I want to see stuff that's something different than what's going on in the real world. And to me, like, it's when things are starting to like sort of blend in from the real world, I'm starting to like, okay, well, what's happening with this now? For me, like, I go here to disconnect, but there's still stuff from the real world coming into these shows, and it's just, I don't know, it's starting to be a little bit what's the word?
Heavy?
Not what's that?
Heavy?
Yeah, and like I'm not
I don't know. I feel like it's been prominent for quite some time. Like Solo had like a very large real life connotation with L337 and the free.
I get that. Yeah, but I mean,
You know what I mean?
I feel I don't know, it's pushing more and more.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? It's pushing more and more, and I'm not saying I don't like it. It's like it doesn't need to be thrown at us, and like, you know what I mean? I want to be in this world, and I want to forget about what's going on. I want to all this fictional stuff, and all this fake stuff. I want to. That's what I want to dive into with these worlds and stuff, and these characters, and without having to think about anything else. I don't know. It just sometimes it's a little heavy. Heavy is the word, I guess. But anyways, I just want good stories, like you. I want
Amen.
good stories. I want longer stories.
Mm-hmm.
I want longer shows. Like, you know what? If the money's like, I know they want to do the whole quantity over quality, so maybe they're putting more money into this kind of stuff. But
Well, didn't they say the
I don't know.
opposite that
Or
they?
was it the opposite?
Yeah, quality.
Whatever.
Because remember they pushed originally Skeleton Crew was
Quality
supposed
over
to come
quantity.
out
Right.
around the same time as one of the other shows, and then they're like, no, we want to emphasize quality, so they
That's
increase
what I
the
meant to say.
budget and push
Yes,
it
that's
back.
what I
Yeah,
meant to say. Quality over quantity. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I get that. But when it starts to affect the storytelling, then that's where the issue comes in, I think, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, and also to me, like if that's what they're doing, pumping more into the budget and pushing these shows back, they should be longer, not shorter. Like how that doesn't math for me.
but it doesn't
Doesn't
make any
compute.
sense though. That's the thing, right? Like why write a 25-minute show when there's so much more story to be told in that? Like you have the
Yeah,
money, and like we
yeah.
said, like $180 million for episodes. The heck? Like, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense at all. Like this show that they spent more money on this show than they did Kenobi, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the fact that there's more characters involved. There's more. I don't know what it is, man. Like, but yeah,
Well,
I don't know. The writing is.
I think the thing that kills me the most is you were given a bigger budget than Kenobi got. You were given an area where you could basically write anything. I mean, you weren't hamstrung by. You were at no point hamstrung by the canon. Maybe what was written in the High Republic, but if I was looking at it right, you had set it into a period where it's kind of off of some of the books in the High Republic. It's not in that area. It's also not in the area of Episode 1. You have free reign in this area to do whatever you like.
Yep.
And somehow, with all that freedom and $180 million, this is all we got? This is what we got? And you're still having trouble fighting around the canon of Episode 1. Who knows if you're even fighting the canon of the High Republic every step of the way? Because I haven't read any
that
of
would
it.
be something interesting to hear, is like from the people that know that lore and whether this is going against it or not.
I mean, the only character that we really have to work off of is Vernestra Rowe. Is she living up to what she's supposed to be? I mean,
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like there's, like you said, there's a giant gap between what they're actually writing in the High Republic right now to this show, right? Like Vernestra is way older than what she is in those, so there is a gap.
In that
So
era,
they
yeah.
have, like you said, they do have that canvas. They have, they had all this potential, right? So, and it's been
and it feels like you let
underwhelming for
you
sure.
let us all down, not just yourselves.
Yeah. But anyways, there's like 4 episodes left. Okay. So let's.
Something I was looking up for context is I just looked up a show that I know has like hour-long episodes, and so I looked up Prison Break, and that was $2 million per episode, total of $24 million for a whole season. So compare that to like $180 million for 8 short episodes. Pretty crazy.
You haven't done any real force work. I mean, you've only shown maybe 20 lightsabers in this time. I mean, so nothing that you've had to go too hard with the CGI on. I just don't know where did the money go? I'm gonna keep saying that. But,
Into Leslie Headland's pocket, I suppose.
I guess so.
Into her purse. Her purse.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't want to. I feel like we're beating a dead horse now.
I know.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I don't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just have a little hope for the next episode. Okay.
I mean, the one positive, we already know it's going to be a longer episode than this last one. So,
thank goodness.
So,
my guess is 44
I hope that's a positive.
minutes.
I'm not even going to try to fight that. But yeah, hopefully it's a longer episode. Hopefully it's a better episode. And hopefully next time we come together in a couple weeks, we're talking about 2 episodes that ended up being dynamite, and oh my god, it finally all came together. It makes sense now. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, could be.
So we'll see what happens. And to those that did hang around to listen to this whole thing, thank you. I'm sorry in some cases where you had to hear us go down that negative rabbit hole, but sometimes we gotta do it for the best of Star Wars. Once again, if you haven't checked, definitely give us a follow on Twitch, where we do the first runs of these shows. We're at 49 followers. We're trying to get to the follower number 50. We'd love to see that. Definitely check us out on YouTube. Be checking us out on YouTube or Spotify. Give us a like. Give us a subscription. We'll be happy to. We're happy to see anything you can do to help us out. Let us know that you're enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah, comments. We would love to hear your comments, guys.
Yeah, comments. I mean, if you don't like something we're doing, tell us. I mean, we can't fix what we don't know we're doing wrong. If we don't know we're doing something wrong. I mean, if we sound terrible, hey, we can fix it. If we're too negative, we'll do our best. I mean, because we don't want to be negative. Yeah, I think that covers everything. And I love you guys. And
if we're too positive, I'm not changing nothing.
And there it is. All right. That being said, thank you all for being around for this episode of the Shadow Collective Star Wars podcast. My friends, Andy Pete, Swampgrass, where can we find you, bud?
I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/swampgrass420, guys. Doing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes content for the most part, Monday to Friday, as well as Marvel Strike Force content on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Andy Beads, where can we find you, bud?
Andy_Beads on twitch.tv, and Thursday nights and Saturday morning I stream Marvel Snap.
Nice.
So that's my thing.
Nice. And I am Darth Eldor. Of course, I would kick in right there.
Dying from allergies is
yes.
what he is.
You can find me at Darth_Eldor at twitch.tv. That's also what I use on YouTube, Twitter/X, whatever you call it these days. I'm usually around. I'm paying attention. Doing the Galaxy of Heroes thing, just like Swampgrass. And yeah, just happy. Looking forward to hearing from all of you. But once again, thank you guys for joining me as always, and thank you all for listening, and the Force will be with you always.